Hello, my gorgeous makeup loving friends. How's it going? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Teresa. I actually am an idiot. I forgot to essentially film an intro to this video. I know, so bright, so talented. Anyways, today it's essentially um, a sort of a chat between myself and my friend Daniella about some of the recent experiences she had with BPerfect. So we're talking primarily about customer service because there seems to be some issues around that. Now, I want to make it really, really clear that in no way are we bashing the brand. We actually think the brand is really, really good. I love that it's an Irish company. I'm all for that. We say what we say out of love and because we want to see the brand going from success to success, and that we think there are just some little points of potential improvement. So that's what the video is about. It's just Daniella talking about her experience, and we have a little consideration of where BPerfect could move on from. So if that's something that you're interested in, then do please keep on watching.
So, as some of you guys may know, I will often point out that it's very important to look for balance in reviews. I might absolutely love something, I might absolutely hate something, but that is just the opinion of one person. And when we're looking at things, we really should be looking at lots of different opinions because that helps us really form the basis of our decision. And when we're buying things, we're not just buying the things, we're also buying the customer service. We're buying from the brand itself. We're dealing with representatives. And I know that for me, I've had some absolutely spectacular experiences with customer services that have meant I'm going to deal with this brand for life. Cult Beauty have been fantastic with me in the past.
Amazing.
I am now like shipping them as a result. And I know for a lot of us, if we have poor customer service, that can leave quite a sour taste in our mouth, and that can really make or break our even interaction with the products that we get in the end. It can really quite sour the whole thing. So I kind of wanted to bring a little bit more transparency, a little bit more balance to this video by bringing in a fabulous friend, Daniella, who you might recognize from previous releases and rants, because she's had some interactions with BPerfect recently, ranging from customer care all the way up to various people on that. She went and she bought the new BPerfect Stacey Marie Antidote palette as a little treat for herself. And she's had some experiences from that. So I guess first, I just want to say, like, what do you think of BPerfect prior to right now? What has your experience
I
on?
still love BPerfect. Like the products themselves are incredible. The formula itself is incredible. You've seen me say that because you've asked me when I was doing your makeup if I could rescue any palettes from a burning building, I would say my carnivals. If I could repurchase something, it would be my Tahiti. They're still my ride or dies, and that's not changing. Luckily, I can separate the products from the service that I got. The issue is repurchasing down the line because I don't want a repeat issue with what I dealt with.
Yeah.
Because that was quite a calamity, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, right, like we're putting the cart before the horse. So I think it's really important to give some context here of, Daniela loves BPerfect. She really likes their stuff. I mean, she is, she's like, hey, I really love them. So I want to make this really, really clear that we are not taking this as an opportunity to be like, go throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No, definitely not.
This video is about, we are taking a brand that we think is actually really very good and has a lot of positives to it, and providing some constructive feedback, because it's one of those things that we're like, you're 95% of the way there to being absolute perfection, and these are like teeny tiny little adjustments that would just, I think, really enhance a customer experience for a lot of us. So I think kind of where we have to kind of almost go backwards to is, obviously Daniela has bought the Antidote palette. So what date did you buy the Antidote palette on?
1st of September, because when I was away with Miss to return a dance, I didn't get the chance to buy it at midnight because we were all out. So I didn't want to sit in a queue when I was busy. So I ordered it on the 1st, and it was supposedly dispatched on the same day as well. All seemed well at the time.
Yeah, and I know from dealing with BPerfect, they usually have an option in terms of delivery, and they give you a sort of a time frame. So what was the time frame that they had given you?
1 to 2 days. Royal Mail 24.
Yeah, so I mean, you had paid for that. That's what that was. Now, for context, I do have a cat who's just rustling around. She's just currently pointing out that I'm not a good housekeeper. It is currently the 8th of September. Right now, so that is a week, and no pallet, none to be seen, has not
Nothing.
arrived yet. Okay.
No.
Now, we all know things are moving and can move a little bit slower, and it's not even necessarily that it's like, oh, I haven't gotten it straight away. It's more to do with the promises made to a
false promises.
Yeah. And I know Daniella, she's not like we have waited, we put ourselves onto lists before of waiting like for 3 or 4 weeks for something to come into stock, and we don't get annoyed about that because it's a very clear agreement that we've gone into.
If we get full transparency, we can deal with that as it comes. It's more about what we read, how we perceive it, and what we expect, and not just as us but as customers.
Yeah,
in general.
Yeah, so Daniella ordered on the 1st. Based upon the agreement, it seemed that they were meant to, at the latest, coming in by the 3rd of September. Spoiler alert, it didn't.
No.
So Daniella did what anyone would do, which is contact customer services, because she had checked the tracking number. So
I rang Royal Mail. I had other issues involved in Royal Mail with something totally separate, and while I was on the phone to them, I got them to look up a tracking number, which they told me doesn't even exist in their system. And they said even if it's Royal Mail 24, because most people would assure you, oh, tracking wouldn't get updated until a delivery is made or attempted. Understandable, but obviously they still have to scan the product in and have it in a system in order for it to go from point A to point B. And I was assured on the phone to Royal Mail that no such number existed within their system, so they assumed that the item just never even left the warehouse. So obviously I contacted BPerfect and told them about that,
which is sort of what we would do. Now, this is where the whole customer service thing comes into play. We've had some fabulous experiences with customer service where they're really receptive, really responsive, really listening and trying to understand where the perspective of the customer is coming from. But when you put this to customer service, what experience did you have?
The experience I got was I was told to wait up to 10 days to see it, and to contact Royal Mail and report the missing parcel. It has to be reported as missing before they could do anything about it. And I made the point, which they didn't listen to the first time again, that I rang Royal Mail, I gave them the complaint reference number from Royal Mail and sent them a screenshot of my call log to Royal Mail. And this continued back and forth for a couple of days until because the weekend passed. And then I contacted Royal Mail because I rang Royal Mail on Friday, asked about it. Weekend passed, nothing came. And then I rang Royal Mail again on a Monday. So in that space of time, no pallets still. And obviously I got back to BPerfect and said I was told the same from another Royal Mail person, because it's 2 people I spoke to separately that told me that. And yeah, that went well, obviously, because they were telling me that can't be true. And then they asked for it in writing. They said, "Can we please have this in writing?" I said, like, you've got the screenshots. You're welcome to share them. I'll leave the post up for a couple more weeks, so if people want to read through that conversation, they can. But I will be taking it down eventually, or archiving it, so I don't have to get rid of it completely.
Yeah.
But they eventually contacted Royal Mail and then found out everything I said was true. Days after all of this kicked off, after not listening to me, and then emailed me to ask me if this is correct. And I said, yes, this is the number you gave me. Like when I click on this email and I type this number in, this is what I get. Just because it kept saying keep trying tomorrow, and I had a gut feeling to check.
So essentially, the kind of take home was the customer service was quite flippant and dismissive, and
yes, because when I eventually said that I was entitled to a refund, they told me to keep waiting, didn't they? They wouldn't budge.
And again, it comes back to what we were saying, which was there is an agreement of expecting it within X amount of days, which is what they had specified on their website. So they weren't quite meeting up to this. Now, it became abundantly clear, unfortunately, that customer care weren't caring and were continuing to almost give busy work where you had to almost prove yourself. Now, they kept saying to go back to the Royal Mail. However, for any of us who have had any issues with these sort of things, where things have gotten lost or we don't know where they are, we don't usually go to our mail carrier or our postal carrier. We are usually told go back to the seller.
It's their responsibility.
Yeah, so there seemed to have been like a miscommunication here as to what is the official policy. So Daniella eventually took to Instagram. She didn't want to do that. It was one of those things of like, oh God, it seems that customer care aren't actually coming in.
And can I mention one more thing as well?
Yeah.
Where they told me that no one else is having this problem. And that came across very gaslit. I do want to add that. And I don't want to give anyone a hard time, but that's not something you say to a customer. You're meant to listen to a customer and assure them, not tell them, well, no one else has had this problem.
Yeah.
Because that's not assuring. That makes me feel like I'm at fault.
And this is part of kind of the worry, because this went on for quite a period of time, and this was dealing with customer care. And when it became clear that customer care weren't really intervening, Daniella then decided, well, I'm kind of only left with one option, which is to go to social media with this and outline the experience that I've had. Now, once she went to social media, things actually started to change, and there was a kind of a shift in dynamic. So do you want to say what happened next then, once things came
Well,
up?
a few people shared it, including yourself. And I think the owner himself got his manager, Anne, to call me. They sent me a message saying, we can see something has gone wrong here. Can we please call you? This was all Monday, by the way, all Monday. So very stressful day for me. I'm supposed to be taking a break currently. For those who don't know, I'm disabled. I had a very busy month of August. As exciting as it was, it took a lot out of me, which is why you haven't seen me much on social media. It's why I'm not wearing makeup. I'm supposed to be relaxing, and the last week has been one of the least relaxing weeks. So yeah, Monday I got a phone call of Anne. Now Anne turned it around. She was fantastic. She was really good, really professional. I got the impression that she doesn't take any crap, that she listened to everything that I had to say, and first of all, straight away told me, said, look, Royal Mail are giving you the incorrect information. And I said, well, how is that true? And I've spoken to 2 Royal Mail people and they've told me that. She said, well, Royal Mail make the labels, when something is purchased, it's something they have between them, where when something's purchased, it buys a label from Royal Mail, which they send, and then they put it on the parcel and it gets shipped out. So basically what's happened is that there's been some kind of glitch somewhere. I said, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Just obvious, and I pointed out, I said, look, I don't want to play this card, but I am unwell and this has caused me a lot of unnecessary stress. And you want to look into your customer care team because they did not pay attention to a word I said. And even if Royal Mail were wrong, me as a customer, I shouldn't be made to deal with that or be blamed for any of it, and I should be listened to. And I made that quite clear. And she said she would have a word with these people. They were named, but I'm not going to name them in this video. I'm going to be respectful of that. And yeah, like she was saying, because it's all Monday, she was telling me that, albeit everything going wrong with Royal Mail, she sent a message to someone in Royal Mail that's high up and said, please sort this out. And said to me, first and foremost, as a customer, you need looking after. We will ship. This was on Monday, so I'm saying this as if it was Monday. She was like, "We'll ship your parcel special delivery tomorrow," and asked me if I would be home specifically on Wednesday. I said yes. Lucky I don't go to many places, even though I'm getting fibro treatment and stuff weekly at the minute. And she said, "Don't worry, we'll get this sent out to you. So sorry for this happening."
So basically, like your experience.
So obviously, it was meant to get sent out yesterday. I woke up today.
And unfortunately, again, I mean, as we said, still no pallet. But I mean, again, balance. Anne was very, very, very helpful and very receptive, very responsive, very validating of feelings. I think that's a sign of somebody who really knows what it is that they're doing. And it's really good to see that at that level.
She had a strictness about her, and I liked it because I felt like I was talking to someone direct. And soon as I hear someone assertive on the phone, I immediately feel comforted because I feel like this person knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about, and knows how to handle a situation. So when I was talking to her, she was quite like stern with me. Not in a way where she was aggressive towards me or anything like that, but stern about the situation, stern about what's happening.
Understanding the gravity of it for you as a customer. She wasn't being dismissive or flippant.
No.
She was understanding that it was important to you.
No, she was great. Like, I felt a lot better afterwards. And also in that time frame, Stacey Marie herself reached out to me and asked me how I was. I told her at the time it was rectified. I edited my caption, and she told me that they'll send me out a tracking number yesterday, which I never received. And I just thought, you know what, just leave it. It's probably just on its way. Roll over to today. I still don't receive a tracking number. And I think it was almost 12, almost lunchtime, when I emailed them asking them for the tracking number, to which they replied with it. And I put it in and it said, check again tomorrow again. So I ring Royal Mail again because I'm like, if anyone will know, they will. And it took a while to get through to Royal Mail. And I explained the situation to them. And they told me, after I gave them the tracking number, that the number exists within the system, but nothing's been sent out. And I was just ready to just scream into several pillows.
So essentially the item hadn't been dispatched, hadn't left the warehouse.
What was meant to arrive hadn't even been sent out. So off I went to BPerfect customer care team again, messaged them everything that was happening, and I got quite a bog standard message saying, sorry, the manager you spoke to is out of office. Your parcel should arrive tomorrow. Great, thanks. What about the promise I was made? What about the guarantee I was given? What about all the assurances I was given? If it was meant to arrive the day after that, would I have not been told that? Why was I asked specifically to be home on Wednesday for them to just say, yeah, it's fine, just check tomorrow?
So it seems as though there's a miscommunication between higher ups and potentially those who are working on the ground in terms of putting things out, because it does seem that there was legitimately like work done of please make sure that this goes out, and it just seems it didn't. It somehow
No,
didn't translate on the floor, unfortunately.
no,
And again,
not looking good.
yeah, and again, just back to the customer service that's a bit flippant and dismissive. Now, this is where Stacey Marie actually steps in.
Saves the day, because she messaged me afterwards when I said when obviously, remember back to Monday, I messaged her saying things were rectified. I got back to her with the current situation, showed her the emails and showed her the screenshots, and I said, this is what's happening. I'm at my wit's end, pretty much. Like, pretty much. I'm gonna be transparent. I was livid. I wasn't happy. I love BPerfect, but I just didn't like this week. I didn't like how I was spoken to. I feel like that's something they really need to take on board and improve upon, because as someone who has health issues and mental health issues, it hasn't helped me. I felt awful this week. It's affected me physically and mentally. It has.
I think
And I'm not
further,
poo-poo on the brand, because that's not my intention. It's more of a, you don't know what your customer is going through, please listen to them, because that the whole point of like the name customer care, the care section is the most important part. You're meant to care for them, and the best way to treat a customer well enough to make sure they come back is to make sure you're attentive to their needs. Even if a customer is wrong, you assure them, you talk to them, and you communicate with them. You don't totally ignore what they're saying and then say what you want to say. You don't fob them off when they've been given a promise. You don't give false promises, which I actually don't think Anne did. I don't think her promise was false. I just think that the customer care team again failed on that front by not doing what was meant to happen. But yeah, Stacey Marie came and saved the day, like the angel that she is.
I think as well, it's quite important to point out that I know some people are going to say, lads, it's just a pallet. Yes, absolutely, it's a pallet. However, not all of us are privileged enough to just have like X amount of pounds just lying around that is completely disposable. For a lot of us, that amount of money is a portion of rent. It's our grocery shop for a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending upon our needs.
Most people who know me know that unless I bought staples, I've actually been on a no-buy recently, unless it's something that I really need. So that, and everyone knew that I was just waiting on this pallet, that I was dying to get my hands on this pallet.
So
for the longest time.
On paper, it may look like it's just a pallet, but for some people, the reality of buying these things means that they are maybe depriving themselves of something else, or it's a very special treat.
And not only that, it's the principle of the whole situation. It made me feel, I'm going to be fully transparent here. If I didn't go through with public media sharing, which I shouldn't have done, Stacey Marie shouldn't have stepped in to save the day because it's not her job. But if none of that would have happened, I was sat feeling very insignificant, and that's not how you want a customer to feel. And if there are people that are more vulnerable than me dealing with the same problems, it's not nice, and you're more likely going to lose people. And not being funny, there's not a lot of big UK brands, so you should try and set the example.
Because we are, at the end of the day, talking about a brand that has excellent products. Generally the experience is pretty decent. It's just coming down to this
like
one
I said, their pallets
thing.
are my ride or dies.
It's just this one thing. So in our minds, it's quite a simple fix of a retraining in terms of customer service, maybe looking at lines of communication to ensure that people are basically knowing what it is that they're meant to be doing, and it isn't having to escalate to the point that it is. Now, Daniella says that Stacey Marie stepped in. Stacey Marie is an absolute sweetheart, and it's one of those things that you're like, I'm so glad that somebody like this has gotten a collaboration and that her work is recognized, because she's
incredible.
a genuinely lovely person, because she was, and this is again another part that we want to kind of point out is, behind the scenes there are just fabulous people who are
Yeah.
working behind this. She hasn't done this with the expectation of, oh, somebody's going to come and pat me on the back. But what she's done is that she spent time listening to Daniella and validating experiences and feelings, which for me as a psychologist, I'm just sitting there kind of going, well, that's important in and of itself. But not only that, but she said that she would go and try and rectify the situation as best as possible. She communicated what it was that had essentially transpired. And she said that she's going to send out some additional things as essentially a sort of a care package, as a goodwill gesture. Now, all of that is lovely and it's so, so beautiful. However,
And it's so appreciated.
absolutely, but it should have never
have gotten
had
this
to have
far.
gotten to that point. It should have been nipped in the bud with the customer care. So part of why we have done this video is to just basically say, you guys as consumers do have rights, and when customer care are not being receptive to your needs, don't be afraid to advocate for yourself, because you are entitled to that. And we need to hold brands accountable because we know that they're able for it. We know that there is people up there who are really, really good at what they do, and we can hold them to that standard. Again, we are not bashing on any brands or saying, oh my God, cancel them. That's not it at all. It's just saying, if you can make these adjustments, it's going to make things so much better for everybody involved.
Yeah, I mean, when they finally in emailed Royal Mail about what I was saying, days after I made that complaint and told them what was happening, I feel like that could have been explored and found out a lot sooner. That this whole issue could have been rectified a lot quicker should they have paid attention to what I was actually saying. Because in that conversation, like I said, if people want to read it, it's on my Instagram for the next week or so. I'll probably take it down soon, but if you want me to share it with you, let me know. I don't mind. I'm very transparent about everything. I repeated myself quite a few times, and they would say something else quite a few times instead of taking heed of what I was saying as a customer, as a paying customer. And it left me feeling really frustrated, and it got to the point at one point where I didn't even want it anymore. Obviously I still do. I was just fed up.
Yeah,
and
this comes back to the point that I was saying earlier, that our experience with customer service can actually end up sullying the product itself. And considering how absolutely fabulous Stacey Marie is, it would have been such a pity if that had been the lasting taste.
When you deal with something bad, it's about how a person takes care of it that shapes how you look at a situation, and that stuck with me. Like if this person couldn't do what they were doing, but then tried to rectify it, attempted to refund me or talk to me about it, or was apologetic, rather than making me feel like I'm the bad guy, that I'm the one in the wrong, or that I'm not to be believed, or that I should just wait 10 days. All these examples, it really tarnishes your views of the product and of the company. And the people that BPerfect have in their customer service sales team need a talking to, because they are representing your brand. So when people have these experiences, and not just myself, they won't be coming back. I mean, luckily I can get over stuff like this, but not everyone can. And if you want a happy relationship with somebody, you've got to go in 50% of the way, shake their hand and go, hi, how can I help you?
Now, we're not in any way saying throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's not us saying, oh my God, don't buy from.
No, God, no.
BPerfect.
Don't want to. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
I love
part
BPerfect.
of why we are doing this is to say this is a really good brand with some really amazing products, and we want to make sure that people have as positive an experience with the brand as they possibly can, because we do believe in the products and think the products are really, really good. So to maximize their experiences with customers, we don't want to have it so that people just kind of go, oh, well, I'm never going to bother with them again. Our purpose of doing this is twofold. It's one, to remind you that as a consumer, you do have rights, and that if those rights are not being adhered to, do not be afraid to advocate for yourself. And the second one is to say that we think that brands like this are fantastic and we love the job that they do, but we can see that there's room for improvement. And when we say these things, it's not to be petty,
It's with love.
it's not to be mean. If we didn't care about the brand, we just wouldn't say anything. We'd say, right,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna. I've done this before.
I would have kept the post up forever and said, and I could have put up angry posts saying, never buy from this brand. Never do this, never do that.
From brands where I've had very poor customer service, and I've just decided I'm never going to speak about them again or never talk about them again, which is far more damning in some ways. So the reason why we're doing this is just basically saying we think they are good, and they literally just need this tiny little tweak, and it's going to help everybody overall.
Okay, quick update on the Daniella BPerfect situation. We filmed on a Wednesday, and the next day, which was a Thursday, her package actually arrived. Hooray! So Stacey Marie actually sent on like some really nice little goodies. It was really sweet, and the replacement package arrived. But weirdly, her original package arrived, but missing the palette. So anyways, she got onto them, and then they said like, oh no, the palette is there because we have CCTV that shows people packaging it. So I think they were thinking about the repackage, but it's just a bit weird. Anyways, she's got her thing. It's all been sorted. She's not getting a refund from what I understand, but Stacey Marie was really, really nice. Eventually customer service and stepped back in again. She was fantastic. But yeah, that's essentially it. But I'm gonna pan back to us in the past. By the way, if you like this look, it is with the Antidote. Keep an eye out. That's my video tomorrow.
So hopefully, guys, this all made sense and you saw this for what this was. This was not meant to be a negativity spiral. This is essentially just an attempt to give some constructive feedback, not with any bitterness or any sort of negativity. Again, trying to be balanced. And actually, we'd love to hear like your stories, positive stories that you've had with customer care, you know, to give that constructive feedback, those examples of things that have really worked for you as a consumer, so that we can show brands what it is that we're looking for. So if you drop down below in the comments some really positive interactions that you've had with customer care, that would be fabulous. But that's it. We've had a little bit of a ramble. So, you know, keep an eye out on both my YouTube for a video of the Antidote palette. Keep an eye out on Daniella's socials for her
Can't
looks
wait
in general.
to play with it. Stacey Marie kills it every time. My goodness. And you know I love grunge.
Yeah, it's a Daniella palette. If it
yeah, it is.
But look, I'll put all of her details down below. You know the general jazz. Go find her, turn on the notification bell, you know, share the video, because sharing is caring, unless of course it's an STD, in which case, you know, just wrap it up. Don't be gross. We have enough issues to deal with. We can't have that as well. But that's it. And remember, the whole point of this is to be positive and to build a beauty community, not to tear it down.
100%.
We are here to support each other.
I still love BPerfect. Those who obviously saw Hours of Mist at our return to dance in London, what palettes did I bring? I bought one Z palette and then every BPerfect palette I had. You know why? Because they're my ride or dies, and because they play ball, and I knew if I was going to be at a festival looking bum all day, they would do the job. Just saying. I love this brand so much, and I just want to see them grow.
We're intervening because we care.
Yes.
But But that's it, guys, and we will see you in another video. Bye.